Gordon's trucks. Trucks are an inevitable part of every single engine stay on the island of Sodor. The smaller engines do most of the goods work. But even the big express engines must pull goods trains sometimes. They don't always like to, but they know that the Fat Controller depends on them, especially when the goods trains are too heavy for the smaller engines to pull alone. One morning, Gordon the big engine waited at the harbor for a fast goods train to be shunted behind him. Thomas the tank engine sat nearby. This is an unusual sight, Thomas giggles as the long train was coupled to Gordon. I'd rather be pulling the express. I can't abide these dirty coal trucks. It's not so bad, Thomas laughed. A little coal dust never hurt an engine before. No, but it does make an engine look silly. Much like you did cover in it at the coal tower the other day. Thomas scowled. He did not like to be reminded of the time that Percy had pulled his empty trucks beyond the coal chute, causing the coal to billow out all over Thomas instead. That wasn't my fault, Thomas bleated. Ah, but your reaction disproves your point. Coal does hurt an engine's pride, that is. Before Thomas could retort, Gordon steamed away with his goods train in tow. At least the trucks like me, skulked Thomas. They groan when Gordon takes them out. Soon, Gordon was making his way down the main line toward the junction. He thundered through station after station, his wagons cluttering behind him. The other engines watched him as he flew by, guffawing at the sight. Gordon must be miserable pulling those trucks, Percy said to Edward as Gordon passed by. Edward laughed. You're right, Percy. If there's one thing that Gordon hates, it's trucks. Gordon, having passed through much of the busy inner-city segments of the main line, entered the vast Sodor countryside. All around him were rolling hills, vast plains, and farmhouses. The big engine began to smile. Though Gordon would never admit it, he secretly loved pulling goods trains down the main line. It gave him a chance to stretch his wheels and, when the trucks were not too troublesome, allowed him to have solitude from the hustle, bustle, and noise of the express. Nothing like it, Gordon chortled. The trucks sang with him. They liked Gordon. He was a no-nonsense sort of engine that treated them with respect. Gordon never bumped the trucks unless he had a reason to, and today they were well behaved. Together, Gordon and the trucks sailed smoothly down the main line. It was not too long before they had arrived. Gordon set down the trucks and ran round. He spoke to them quietly. Remember, not a word to Thomas, Gordon said. The trucks chuckled. Right! We can't let him know how much you like pulling us. Thomas pulled into the station shortly thereafter. Finally! I was beginning to think you'd never come, Thomas laughed. Well, if it wasn't for these bloody trucks holding me back, I can't abide them. He winked at the trucks. It's okay, Gordon. You can go back to pulling your express now. I'll take them from here. You need a wash down, by the way. You're covered with coal dust. To complete his act, Gordon gave a snort and puffed away into the truck. He, his driver, and fireman all laughed heartily at their joke. You really do love those trucks, don't you, Gordon? His driver smiled. Ah, sighed Gordon. They make me feel young again. Gordon trundled through the open countryside towards the harbor again. The sun was setting in the distance, and in the back of his mind, he secretly hoped he'd be able to pull trucks again tomorrow.